this week's Friday Update, we're joined by Jerrud Sabourin, senior first baseman extraordinaire for the Hoosiers. And first off, Jerrud, we've talked a lot to the coaching staff about their impressions. What are your impressions of how the team played in fall ball?
I think fall ball was pretty good. I mean, we got a lot of new guys coming in, a lot of pitchers. It's always nice to see more pitchers opposed to last year where we didn't have any. But it's looking good. I mean, guys are fighting for spots, and there's definitely spots to be had. But as a whole, still need to work on a few things, but it's looking pretty good.
And talk about your impressions of the newcomers. Obviously, there's a lot of guys, a lot of big, tall guys, especially on the mound. How have you taken them under your wing, and how have they developed?
They're definitely coming along. I'd say, the pitchers, we have some pretty talented pitchers, so they just have to learn, what it takes to pitch at this level opposed to high school. And, I'd say our freshman hitters are struggling a little bit right now, but again, the pitching is a little different in college, so, they'll find a way to get it done eventually, but they'll build up to that point.
Also, obviously, we said you're a leader on this team. Going into 2011, this is one of the older teams. We've seen a lot of seniors. Talk about your role as a leader, and there is a lot of leadership in the upper classes.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of seniors, like you said, so we have more than one or two leaders. I think we have more like 3 or 4 leaders, and each of us is different as a leader in our own ways. I mean, I don't really voice my opinions like out loud to the team a whole lot, but I think I'm more of like a follow by example leader, whereas someone like Dylan Swift, he likes to voice his opinions a little more, and he's more of an outspoken leader. So I think there's different forms of leadership. So
obviously the offense was a strength of this team last year. It should be a strength again this year.
Mm-hmm.
The big name is Alex Dickerson, but one thing that Jeremy Gray and I talked a lot about last year was the unsung heroes on this team, in our opinion, offensively, were you and Michael Early, because you hit around Alex Dickerson, you being on base for him, and Michael giving him pitches to hit. Talk about what it's like hitting in front of Alex Dickerson.
It's nice hitting, I'd say, anywhere around Alex Dickerson, because in front of him you're gonna see better pitches because no one wants to face him, and then behind him he's gonna be on base most of the time, so you're gonna have someone to drive in. Either way it's great, and I remember so many times last year where I got a single or whatever, and I wouldn't have to run anymore because he just hit a ball over the fence. I could just jog around the bases. So yeah, his impact's definitely huge, and keeps our offense alive.
Back here for your senior season this year, obviously as a junior you had aspirations to go in the draft. That didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of along the same lines as what happened with Chris Squires the year before. I know, talking to Chris, it was a big motivation for him to get better and just improve himself and also make the most of it. You feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough time for me because baseball is what I love to do, and certain scouts were telling me oh, you're going to be drafted pretty early, and then draft comes around and I don't get drafted anywhere. So I just remember sitting in my room in my host parents' house in Massachusetts, and just wondering like what was going on, like thinking over my life again. So I don't know, it's just a weird feeling, and it just definitely, I guess, makes you not take things for granted, and makes you realize that college baseball is great, and it's definitely a privilege to be playing college baseball, and gives me more motivation, like you said, to have a better year this year. So, yeah.
Everybody knows about your offense. You're one of the top hitters in school history. You'll likely break the all-time hits record here. But perhaps more important is your defense, especially your arm and your ability to dig balls out. Do you take a lot of pride in your defense?
Yeah, I definitely do, and I definitely get disappointed when I make a bad throw every once in a while and don't pick a ball, and I do take pride in my defense, and defense is something that Skip has emphasized a lot in practice and always does. I think defense is, even as important as offense, because in low-scoring games, the defensive errors could be the ones that count, that really make the difference.